mamukasei muri yezimbabwe tirakugamuchirai pachirongwa chino cheZBC Current Affairs apo nhasi unoyu tiri kucherechedza zuva reWorld AIDS Day zuva rakasendekwa parutivi musi wa1 December gore rega rega kuti ringe richicherechedzwa pasi rese uye muno muZimbabwe magungano rekucherechedza zuva iri riri kuitirwa iro kuJohn Cover Primary School kwaRusape uko kudunhu reManicaland. Ndinonzi Elizabeth Chengeta. Ungavuka njani-ke mthwakazi kandaba-ke sixhumana kuhlelo lweZBC Current Affairs namhlanje sinanza-ke usuku lwe-World AIDS Day lapho-ke lolu suku sibona-ke ukuthi lwabekwa-ke eceleni ukubana lunanzwe mhla ka-1 December mnyaka yonke. Yes, sibona-ke ukuthi lolu suku lunanzwa-ke emhlabeni jikelele kodwa lapha eZimbabwe lolu suku namhlanje silunanza-ke sise-John Cowie Primary School eRusape esiqintini esabelweni seManicaland. Igama ngu-Elizabeth Chengeta. Yes, sikhangela-ke ukuthi umkhuhlane wengculaza umkhuhlane-ke obubhahile njalo owake wahlupha eminyakeni eminingi edlulileyo. Kodwa nxa sikhangela sibona ukuthi iZimbabwe isinconyiwe kakhulu ngokwenelisa-ke ukwehlisa ukumemetheka kwengculaza ngesilinganiso se-11.8%. Sibona-ke ukuthi lokhu-ke inqubela phambili-ke hlangothi lwezempilakahle. Totarisa tichiona isusu kuti chirongwa chezveutano chiri kufambira mberi munyika yeZimbabwe apo Zimbabwe iri kuramba ichiyemurwa zvikuru kubudikidza nekubudirira kwayo mukuderedza kupararira kwedenda reHIV neAIDS. Regai pari zvino tinge tichikuendesai kuJohn Cowie Primary School uko kuna Yvonne Mukondani achange achitipa zviri kuitika ikoko kuti tinge tichinzwa pamwe nekuona kuti zviri kutora nzvimbo ikoko apo chirongwa chanhasi takatarisa isusu zuva rekucherechedza zuva irori reWorld AIDS Day. Regai tikuendesei kuJohn Cowie.
Welcome to this live broadcast of the World AIDS Day commemorations. We are live from John Cowie Primary School in Rusape, Manicaland Province. My name is Yvonne Mukondani. Now, every year on the 1st of December, the world commemorates this big day. It is generally a day that we look at the strides that have been made in as far as fighting HIV and AIDS is concerned. Now, when we talk about HIV and AIDS as a country, a lot of issues come to mind. Issues to do with eradicating HIV and AIDS, achieving the 95 targets, which as Zimbabwe we have managed to achieve. And also as a nation, we always talk about Vision 2030, that of attaining an upper middle income society by then. But one question that always comes to mind is, how do we achieve such a vision without a healthy nation? So this brings events such as these ones into play, where we gather to commemorate and share ideas on what we can do, the strides that we can take as a nation, the targets that we can set for ourselves, and get to a place where we say, you know what, here we are as Zimbabwe, we're fighting this, and we're getting to a place where we will have a healthy nation. Now, the theme for these celebrations right here is My Health, my rights, my responsibility. And it would be good to know that this theme was launched here in Manicaland Province by Manicaland Minister of State for Devolution and Provincial Affairs, Advocate Nishek Mugaza. Now, this vision basically talks to us as a people and encourages us to take charge of our health, to take charge of our rights, and to make it a collective responsibility. Look at your neighbor. His health is your responsibility. Your child, his health is also your responsibility. Now, also looking at some of the targets, the activities that have been done here in the morning. We saw a half marathon that was held. People held a marathon just in commemoration of this World AIDS Day and some of the strides that have been achieved. Now, we also wish to raise awareness about HIV and AIDS, call for action and commitment to HIV and AIDS responses, assess the progress that has been made in the fight against HIV and AIDS, and also remember individuals who have passed away due to the disease. Now, the National AIDS Council of Zimbabwe is leading and coordinating all these activities to make sure that Zimbabwe is positioned at such a place where we lead the conversation. Now, like we said earlier on, we've already achieved these 95-95 targets, where we say as a nation 95% should know their status. Of the 95% who know their status and are probably diagnosed with HIV and AIDS, they should be taking their medication to get us to a point where we're AIDS free by 2030. Again, welcome to this live broadcast. We are live from John Kawi Primary School in Rusape, Manicaland Province, and I am your host, Yvonne Mkondani. We will be taking you through through everything that will be happening here from start to finish. And we're also joined by a guest here who will be taking us through the conversation, just talking to us about HIV, the strides that they've done as an organization. We're joined by Mr. Batla Nepure. Mr. Nepure is from Bantwana, Zimbabwe. He is a communication specialist, and Bantwana, Zimbabwe is an organization that deals with vulnerable children who are affected and infected by HIV and AIDS. Mr. Nepure, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's weird you calling me.
I know, but you are Mr. Nepure. Anyway, today, we're here commemorating World AIDS Day. Where do children fit into this conversation?
Look, Yvonne, it's a very important day. Obviously, I think welcome to all the viewers. I think more than anything, one of the things that you did mention before we even get into of what we're talking about is the achievement by Zimbabwe of the 95-95-95. This being the global targets that were set by the United Nations. Here we are in 2024. I know that there's a minute of silence that is being observed now.
So maybe we'll take it.
We'll just take a minute to
primary school, our host for the day.
Now, like you were saying?
I think one of the things that we have to start by, obviously, is to acknowledge that Zimbabwe is one of the first countries to have achieved the 95-95 targets. Obviously, this being a lot of effort that was put in by government, complemented by the government partners that came into forward. And I think one of the things that was really, really critical was for government to also open up and say we also need to work with like-minded partners to get to those targets, and this is why we are celebrating that at the moment. I think one of the things as well that is very key, particularly now, is that we are looking at, we're celebrating or commemorating this day as we are also marking 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which is very, very another key driver in new HIV infections. So at a time like this, it's also a point of reflection on what it is that we can do to prevent gender-based violence, to then also reduce the number of HIV and AIDS incidences out there. But when you look at pediatric HIV, which is what we're looking at, one of the things that we have to constantly look at, how do we ensure that these young children continue to get access to antiretroviral therapy. These are some of the things that we're working with within the community as a community partner to the Ministry of Health and Childcare.
And now that you've said that, I just got to thinking, sometimes we have children who are born with HIV and AIDS, and, they're already on art and stuff like that. At what point do you think parents or guardians should tell these children that, you know what, this is the situation, this is how it is like, or maybe you should just not talk about it?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Look, there are processes that are put in place to ensure that there is the gradual revelation. But what is very key now is that you need to ensure that these kids adhere to the medication. And these are some of the processes that then, as we work with probably social protection services, the Department of Social Development, on how best to ensure that these kids continue to adhere, because adherence will lead to suppression. And so we would like the viral load suppression to maintain at 95 stage. And now what is key is that outside of just talking about it, the adherence to medication is very, very key for us to continue the statistics down in pediatric HIV and AIDS.
And we continue talking about this 95, 95, 95. And I've talked about it earlier on. You've touched on it. But maybe just to really elaborate on what it is. What does it mean when we say we've achieved this 95, 95 target as Zimbabwe?
So these were global goals set by the United Nations on ending or eradicating HIV by 2030. And UNAIDS did set the targets 95, 95, 95. And the first 95 being 95 of people living with HIV do know their status. And then, because it's one thing just having or just being with HIV, but also to know that status. And then the second 95, ensuring that those who are on those who do have HIV and know their status are also getting ART. And then the third 95 being that they are adhering to ART so that the viral load is suppressed. And when we talk of viral load suppression, it means that then the infection itself is no longer detectable or is no longer active within the body, and that is how you can then continue to live your life normally, as has been talked about over and over and over again. So key has been that if we achieve those 95, 95, 95, we then edge closest to the eradication of HIV by 2030. And I think this is so much dovetailing with Zimbabwe's 2030 vision. And we are heard you talking about the upper middle income economy, and you would want healthy citizens. And if we are to achieve this, the total eradication of HIV, then clearly we will achieve that.
Now the theme, my health, my rights, our responsibility. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to Bantwana Zimbabwe?
Look, as Bantwana Zimbabwe, obviously, as a community partner to the Ministry of Health, the collective responsibility of the communities that we work with, when it becomes our responsibility, we start it from a personal level, and then ultimately it affects the whole community. And so we are very excited with the theme, because the theme works very well, especially for those of us who are working within the communities, that we are going to you as an individual, right? But also you then understand your greater responsibility within your community to be able to play your part in the prevention and fight against HIV and AIDS.
And your last words to the people of Zimbabwe, particularly young people, regarding HIV and AIDS and the taken as a nation, and what we are trying to achieve in as fighting HIV and AIDS is concerned.
Look, Yvonne, one of the things that I think a lot of people have been speaking about, I've heard the talk that there's no more HIV, there's no more AIDS, just because probably the conversation is not as loud as it used to be. But look, we are still worried about new HIV infections. Adolescent and young boys and young women, they still continuously need to learn more about how to prevent HIV and AIDS. We need to continuously raise awareness around issues to do with HIV and AIDS. Adherence is very, very key. This is why we're working within the communities, tracking some of the children that have HIV to ensure that they are adhering to ART. So my last word is, the conversation is not yet over. In fact, it needs to be louder at moment so that we get to a point where we say we have completely eradicated HIV and AIDS.
Mr. Nepore, I must thank you. I must.
I need to get used to that. I have to get used to that.
You better. Thank you for having joined us.
Thanks a lot, Yvonne.
Butler Nepure there from Bantwana, Zimbabwe, joining us on this very special day, speaking about where children fit into this conversation of ending HIV and AIDS by 2030, particularly for Zimbabwe, and just finding out where children, young people, adolescents fit into this conversation. And according to him, this conversation is not over. We have to continuously work and make sure that we fight HIV and AIDS. For now, let's follow proceedings.
Ndisingazwi MC mwana uya kuti munogona kumpaira nguwa.
Mai zvenyu muzukuru wamambo Makoni. Pari zvino yava nguva yekudzivana. Ini ndiri kutaura ndinoitwa Rubaya Munyaradzi. Ndakamirira Permanent Secretary for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Manicaland Province, Mr. Abiod Maronge. Ndichange ndichibasirana na Chief Director from Ministry of Health and Child Care, ED Banda, vari paside pangu. Guest of honor, regai ndikuzivisei vanhu vari pano. Pano tina madzimai namadzibaba nevana vechikoro vauya kuzopemberera kupedza dambudziko reHIV and AIDS muZimbabwe. Yedu inenge isiri kuita zvakanaka, iri kuita maungira. Vepa system tigadziriseiwo. Ngatimbozviuchirira nokuuya nouwandu hwedu. Aiwa munogona muri yamambo Makoni. Pano maita henyu. Pano tine vatori venhau, members of the media. Vatiri kuona development partners atinawo mazhinji acho akaexhibita. Tina chairman weboard of Zimbabwe AIDS Network, Mr. Bruce Nyoni. Tine vakamiririra vanhu vanorarama nehutachiona plus Mr. Makorovodo. Tina senior government officials and the heads of state house vari pano. Tina DDDC Makoni Vamashindi and the heads of the government departments in Makoni district. Tina acting provincial medical director Dr. Mkuzunga. Muri yese. Tina National AIDS Council Chief Executive Officer Dr. Bernard Madzima mogona ngosumuka. Nemuri yese ye National AIDS Council varipa national, provincial nekuma districts ese eZimbabwe. Tina Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health vakamirirwa na Chief Director Banda varipa masura pangu apo. Maita henyu. Tina members of parliament emuManicaland vari pano. Ndaona Honorable Sakupkanya, our own Japreza vari pano. Ndaona Honorable Nyika vari pano. Ndaona Honorable Nyakwedzwa vari pano. Tina Senator for Mashonaland Central, Senator Amai Angeline Tongogara vari pano. You are welcome, Honorable. Tina Provincial Chair wemusangano uri kutonga Comrade Mugadza vakamirirwa PC Comrade Nyakwedzwa Kodza. Ndajaira minister wangu PC ndokukupira kuti muintroduce vemusangano vari pano.
Pamsoroi guest of honor wedu pano tine nhengo dzeprovince dziri pano, tine nhengo dzema-DCC dziri pano, tine wabva kumadistricts, tine wabva futi kucouncil, makanselas edu ari pano. Tinokutendai MC.
Yatigadzirirewoze with my echoes. Tina Ambassador of the Government of the United States of America, Excellence Ambassador Pamela M. Tremont. You are welcome. Tina UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator for Zimbabwe, His Excellency Mr. Edward Callon, and other heads of UN agencies in Zimbabwe, especially the UN AIDS. Thank you for coming. Tina Deputy Minister of Health and Childcare, Honorable S.D. Quidini. Thank you. Tina Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Advocate Misheki Mugadza. Vanoda kukuonai. Right, ndichavainvita kuti vachichizotitambira zviri pamutemo kuzuva redu. Honorable. Hello? Hello?
Our guest of honor, the Minister of Health, Child Care, Honorable Dr. T. Douglas Mombeshora, Mambo Vedu Mambo Makoni, na Mambo Chiduku vandaona vari pano, nemamwe madzimambo angadai vari pano, tinokuremekedzai. The Deputy Minister of Health and Child Care, Honorable S.T. Quidini, UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator for Zimbabwe, Mr. Edward Callon, and other heads of UN agencies in Zimbabwe here present, Ambassador of the Government of the United States of America, Her Excellency Ambassador Pamela M. Tremont, UN Representative Zimbabwe, Henry Damson, ZANU-PF Provincial Chairman vedu Baba Mkodza, vakamirirwa na Comrade Nyakuyedzwa Honorable, nema ZANU-PF members vane zvigaro mese muri pano. Regai nditangire kuma Central Committee members edu vari pano, National Assembly members, provincial members, mese machairman ari pano ema districts, machairman ese DCC chair Makoni ne timu yenyu. Regai nditi kuvedu vese vemusangano ndakuremekedzai kusvika kuma cell chair. Senator vedu former Shonaland Central, Senator Amai Angeline Tongogara, ma members of parliament vedu vatinavo pano tinokuremekedzai, Comrade Nyakuyedzwa, Comrade Nyika, Comrade Japreza Sakupkanya, Comrade Sagandira, nemamwe ma members vandanzwa vari pano vandisina kukwanisa kupuwa mazita avo, ndiri kukuremekedzai. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Child Care, Dr. Aspect Maunganidze, here represented by Chief Director Dr. S. Banda. Our own Provincial Secretary, Comrade Maronge, represented here by Mr. Rubaya. The National AIDS Council Chief Executive Officer Dr. Bernard Madzima, Chief Makoni ndamboku kuremekedzai, ndinokudai zvakanyanya unyati ndosaka ndiri kuramba ndichingodzokorora. Acting Provincial Medical Director vedu, Dr. M. Mukuzunga, and other provincial heads, mese muri pano, DDC Makoni, nema DDC ese ari pano, Baba Mashindi, nema DDC, nema executive officers, vese ari pano, ma chairman edu, ema rural district chairman, Rusape, living with HIV, National Chairman Baba Makorobondo, and communities of people living with HIV, the Chairman of the Board of the Zimbabwe AIDS Network, Mr. Bruce Nyoni, Heads of Development and Implementing Partners, Media Fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. Muchandiregerera nekurebesa protocol, asi ndinozviziva guest of honor, ndiri politician, kana ukasiya vanoda kuti vataurwe hazviperi mushi. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to officially welcome you to this year's commemoration of the World AIDS Day that we are hosting as a province. Guest of honor, let me convey the gratitude of the people of Manicaland Province to His Excellency Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa for the confidence that he has invested in us as Manicaland by continuously giving us the opportunity to host national events. This is just but one of the national events that we have hosted this year. After hosting the independence celebrations, the cookout competitions, cultural day, and many others. This event is a reminder that battle against HIV has not been won. We are, however, very glad as a province that Manicaland has the third lowest HIV prevalence after Harare and Mashonaland Central. Guest of honor, our HIV incidence has been declined over the years from as high as 0.29 in 2018 to the current 0.14. This is evidence of the hard work and dedication by the government, ably led by our astute leader, Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, with his new dispensation. Despite a few pockets that we still need to address in Manicaland, I am informed that the province has already achieved the 95-95-95. The HIV burden is, however, still high among children, adolescent girls, and young women and key populations. Children are the future and deserve our attention to ensure that pregnant women access antenatal care early and that all positive mothers and children receive care without dropping out. This will ensure that we retain both mother and child in care and achieve viral suppression. As a province, most of our districts are performing well in this response. This district, Makoni, which is hosting the World AIDS Day commemoration, is however lagging behind a bit, as it has the highest HIV incidence in the province of 0.1 or 0.18%, which is higher than the provincial average of 0.14%. The district also has the highest HIV prevalence of 11.8%, which is also higher than the provincial average of 9.35%. In response, we are implementing HIV prevention interventions across the province, which include condom distribution, HIV testing, prevention of mother-to-child transmission, voluntary medical male circumcision, and others. We also have the DREAMS and sister-to-sister programs targeting adolescent girls and young women, and the brother-to-brother targeting boys and men who are ordinarily left out behind by various programs. We have now also incorporated drug and substance abuse interventions to address this major driver of HIV transmission. Guests of honor, given our unique geographical position, Manicaland is the country's gateway to the Mozambican port of Beira, which results in high volumes of people passing through the province to and from our neighbor. In this regard, we have several interventions in place, including clinics targeting travelers, truck drivers, and sex workers who may be at risk of HIV due to their high mobility. Our treatment programs have also been doing well, and we have already achieved the attendant 95% in this regard. Part of the progress we have achieved was through the community art treatment and care facilitators program initiated in this district as a differentiated care delivery model for the supply of antiretroviral therapy. I would like to applaud the roles by the Ministry of Health, your ministry, guests of honor, the coordination of AIDS-saving organizations by National AIDS Council, and the various implementing organizations that continue to work hard in reducing the HIV burden in our province. I am very hopeful that you will all enjoy this event today, which has been preceded by various pre-launch activities that many of you participated in, for which I thank you. It was pleasing to many of us, to many of you taking part in this morning's inaugural World AIDS Day Marathon. Your participation in the marathon has demonstrated your commitment to the response. In addition, it has underlined the important linkage between HIV and wellness. Most of our people are becoming susceptible to non-communicable diseases, most of which can be easily prevented and controlled by eating health foods and doing body exercises. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor and privilege to once again warmly welcome you all to Manicaland. Manicaland is the place. This is the place to be. This is the land of gold, diamond, lithium, tantalite, vermiculite, phosphate, you name it, timber. Above all, milk and honey. Manicaland province, and specifically Makoni district, which is hosting this program today, is another spectacular province with many things and many investment opportunities. I want to say at this juncture to our Excellence, the Ambassador of America, that this is Manicaland, Your Excellence. Bring those investors. We have the opportunities in the tourism industry, in the timber industry, mining. We are waiting for them. The environment is conducive. Return on investment is guaranteed. Manicaland people are welcoming people. well-cultured, strong and beautiful women are found in Manicaland. When you leave, please don't forget to visit our spectacular and scenically structured centers of tourism. We have many of them in Nyanga, in Chimanimani, and many places. We must also test what we are producing from our Valley Edition projects that we are doing in Manicaland. In Chipinge, we are making Dombi Grisalin from macadam. In Mutare, we are making a lot of other products, including Komoyo juice from Mauyu, a fruit that is found from our beautiful forest. That drink is spectacular. It's an energy drink. You try it, you never stop drinking it. We are all making a lot of other things. In Wonde Valley, bananas are making lots of good products. Banana flour, banana oil, and banana yogurt. We are calling them, yeah, your flour, yeah, your yogurt, yeah, your chips, your excellence. Please don't go without tasting them. Lastly, here in Rusape, there is a company called Nyanga Craft, which is making wonderful products from apples, the Nyanga apples. They have from apples they are making juice, wine, and a lot of other consumables. I want you to taste the wine. The wine is spectacular. It treats any ailment and make you more beautiful. I thank you.
Maita honorable nokuti titambira. Thank you so much. Ndichakumbira group traditional dance rinonzi iro Anodin Primary School rizotitendera honorable namashoko avo okutitambira. But hanzi pane mwana arasika anonzi Munashe Maputsa ari grade 2 pamavazuva primary. Kana pana auya naye ngauye pano atore mwana yeye. Anodin Primary muri ready here? Regai tukumbire mwana uya wanga achidza nepoem. Auye pano.
Value Edition. Baba Nengag, Wakatangal Comrade, Wakata Value Edition, Wakata Minister, Wakata Value Edition, Wakata Vice President, Wakata Value Edition, Wakata President, Wakata Value Edition. Is a Swati Fem Sadak, Dai Kumbro President. Dai Kumbro President, kuti musazosiya makoni pane zvose zvinowanesa. Ndaikumbirawo vanhu mose muri pano kuti mundibatsire kutenda president wedu nebasa guru ari kutiitira, vari kutishanyira mudunhu redu ramambo makwakoni, vachitirangaririra hama dzedu dzatakarasikirwa naro nechirwere cheHIV. Ngatitendei maita Shumba, Shumba Murambwi. Dai musipota izvitsvananiko izvi Shumba, Shumba menyu inodzoa bo yadzorera muno mamambo makoni. Ngatipembererei chikuti tamba vakakuta ukamaiko ngasawira ukamaiko ngasawira ndate inindinonzi Plisan Mzerengwa Meumba Primary School Yetlands Makoni District. Timu ndikusetere timu ndikusetere timu pekutanga tarapananiko pana baba Munangagwa pechitu tarapananiko pana baba Chiwenga pechi3 tarapananiko pana baba Muhadi. Tongai makadaro imbo, tongai makadaro, fambai imbo, fambai makadaro.
Kwanzi na honorable minister nomkono wavo we 20 US. Yawedzera kwanzi na honorable Kwidini imwe 20 US. Aiwa, tinotenda. Ve Arnold in primary ndakungopa 2 minutes. Value addition maona kuti ndinobhadharaka yakungoramba mari yakungowedzera. Kwaina honorable senator Tongogara imwe 20 zvakare. Aiwa, tinovonga mahonorable edu ndo future yamangwanai. Kwidini. Avachadi kubuda. Maita maoko. Kumbirawo my entertainment groups move ready pamaslot enyu kuitira kuti musazoramba kubuda sezvaitava maita basa. Nguva ino ndakuipa kuna Chief Director Banda kuti vaenderere mberi nechirongwa.
Thank you, Mr. Rubaya. Honorable Minister Dr. Mombeshora, allow me to write on the already established protocol. This time, we are going to have the Chief Executive Officer for NAC, Dr. Bernard Mazima, background to the 8th Day commemoration. Dr. Mazimo, sir.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies, Varubaya na Dr. Banda. Our guest of honor, who will be introduced later, allow me again to write on the protocols which have already been established. My job here today, this morning, is to share the background of the World AIDS Day commemorations. For Zimbabwe, we started Muna 1998, and every year on the 1st of December, nationally, no province, yatinoita national commemorations. Gore rino 2024 tiri muManicaland, tiri maRusape pa John Cow. Donjo or objective hombe ndekuti to serves as a reminder of the need to remain committed to preventing new HIV infections and also to ensure that we provide essential services to all people with HIV. So Zuvairi, tinorangarira those who have died of HIV and AIDS. And we will also renew and AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. To help us achieve that, we have a theme, Ranikati Dingindira. For 2024, it's take the right path, the rights path. But takazogara ne team yeManicaland tikaita unpack this theme and give it more flesh and localizing it. And we added kuti my health, my rights, our responsibility. The broad objective theme is to address the inequalities that hinder progress towards ending AIDS as we want to achieve the UN's targets which require that we reduce stigma, we reduce discrimination amongst key populations, and we reduce issues of gender inequality and violence. Saka ndo dingindira ratiri kumhanya naro gore rino iri. As a country, we have recorded tremendous progress as far as the HIV program is concerned. We are one of the countries which have achieved the 95, 95, 95 targets of 2025. But we take cognizance of the gap which still remains, because we still have people dying of HIV. We still have new infections. As of 2023, we had 15,000 new HIV infections, and we had 17,000 AIDS-related deaths. So we still have to be reminded that the epidemic remains vicious. As National AIDS Council, under the Ministry of Health and Child Care, we continue to provide leadership, harmonize and align our responses in line with local and global standards and expectations to achieve and maintain epidemic control. We continue to scale up prevention and treatment services so that everyone has access to them, particularly adolescent boys and girls, young women, sex workers, and for other vulnerable groups. The National AIDS Council also coordinates and integrates AIDS-related issues like TB, non-communicable diseases. Now we have the drug and substance abuse, issues of disability and mental health, amongst others. And we continue to work with the partners to make sure that the response is integrated. Now, for us not to go backwards in terms of the 95, 95, 95 targets and epidemic control, we have to have the discussion, our guest of honor, around issues of sustainability to ensure that we don't reduce the gains which we have recorded and slide backwards. So the AIDS levy is there, but it's just a small piece in terms of providing funding which is domestic if we are going to respond to health issues. And I know that as the Minister of Health and Child Care, you are seized with that task of ensuring that we increase domestic funding for not only HIV, but health in general. And our funding partners also, we have to guard against donor fatigue. We are grateful to our all-weather partners who have made us achieve the targets which we have now. Because this is not only affecting Zimbabwe, but other countries too. And as a country, let's look inward. I'm happy that we have our honorable members of parliament here with us, particularly the chair of the HIV thematic committee, Senator Tongogara, who is very committed to supporting the cause for HIV. We have to be led by science and evidence in doing this, so that we direct the limited resources which we get to the areas which need them greatest. As we commemorate World Days today, there are various other post-launch activities which will happen. It's not ending today, it goes throughout the year. And all provinces will host their localized commemorations to ensure that the same theme messages are shared across the country. In conclusion, guest of honor, let me thank the contributions by the communities, by government, our funding partners, implementing partners, and other stakeholders towards making this World AIDS Day commemoration and campaign launch successful. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Madzima. It's true, HIV/AIDS is still with us, and domestic funding is something that is needed. And Honorable Minister of Health and Child Care is truly well versed with that. And I know his team is on the ground working with Minister of Finance to make sure that there is enough health financing. Thank you, Dr. Madzima, for that. Can we have Albert Chiwanza, Michelle Mtimbanyoka, Amy Gomba to come and share experiences and success stories of people living with HIV? Each one of you, we are allocating at least 3 minutes.
Pamusoro ndoda kutenda mubato wechigaro. Ndoda pamusoro mukuru weprovince ino sachigaro wamugadza neutekwa hwese uri pano neurongo hwazvo. Ini ndauya ndichida kutaura my experiences. Ndiri umwe wanhu ari kurarama neHIV. Pendakatanga zvakatanga zvisina kunaka. Ndakatanga nekurwara, ndichirwara ndibva ndaenda kun'anga maprofita, ndaifunga kuti kuroiwa. Asi ndazoenda kuchipatara. Ndakaadvaiswa kuti ndiende kunational testing center. Saka ndaenda kunotestwa, ndakarwadziwa pendakabatwa kuzi ndine utachiwana. Zvakaita kunga nyika yapera, asi ndakazopuhwa counseling nadokta wanga ari kundibatsira. Kubva ipapo ndakatanga kusimba, ndakaonanawo nevamwe varume vakanga vasangana neutachiwanawo, vakanga vakutambira, vakagona kurarama nawo. Vadaro vakandisimbisa, ndikabva ndatanga kumwa mushonga wangu. Ndakabva ndataurirawo mudzimai wangu, ndobva ndatanga kumwa tiri mhuri. Ini ndinoshanda semurayiridzi. Ndakanga ndiri matambudziko kuti ndaitorovha kubasa ngekurwara apo nepapo. Asi ndakatanga kusimba kusvika zvandaanhare. Saka ini ndobva kwaMutare ndichigara kuHobos, ndonzi Simon Cheren. Saka ndauya ndichida kuti ndisimbise vamwe varume, ndichiti ngatiende kunoteswa, titange kurapwa. Pendatanga kurapwa, takamboita dambudziko rokuti dzimwe nguva ndaishaya mare, nokuti paida mare yekuti tiende kunorapwa. Pese petaenda kuma-resupply. Asi kuburikidza nemaorganizations akaita kunga ana ZNNP plus, vana ana NAC nevamwe vakangodaro vakagona kuita lobby Ministry of Health and Child Care. Vakabva vabuda nechinangwa chekuti aiwa ngatibatsire vanhu vasaita madefaulters. Ndo petakabva tanzi hurumende yatambira chichemo chenyu, hamuchabhadhari. So zvakutaura kuti kuteswa uri kuteswa mahara, mushonga uri kupuhwa mahara, chako simba rekurarama ririmori. Unofanira kuti usimbe, woshandawo nevamwe wakasangana nedambudziko, woona kumwa mushonga wako. Varume ngatisaita dambudziko rekuti wabatwa kuzi une chiwere, womwa mapirisi wakawanda, unouraya mhuri yako. Ukanga wakuziva paumire, unogona kuchengeta mhuri yako uchirarama uri health. Ndoda kutenda maorganizations anaziva paumire, ZNNP plus, vana NAC neMinistry of Health and Child Care vakagona kumira nesu, vari kungomira nesu nanhasi nekuti mishonga yedu tinoiona nenguva, uye tinoramba tichikurudzirwa, tichibatana, tichipindawo nemumasupport groups ari kutipa simba rekurarama nezvimwe zvinoita kuti tizviraramise nekuraramisa mhuri dzedu. Ndatenda.
Pamusoro iyi vanoremekedzwa vese, vakomana nevasikana, ana baba nana mai. Ini ndamira pano kuzotaura pamusoro penonzi PMTCT kudzivirira kweutachiwana kubva kumwana kubva kuna amai. Ini ndine makore 21. Zita rangu ndoitwa Michelle Mtumbanyoka. Ndakaita pamwiri ndine makore 19. Ndaita pamwiri ndakatanga kuita problem yekurutsa ndichirwadzwa nemudumbu. Ndikakurudzirwa nevabereki vangu kuti ndiende kuchipatara ndinotariswa kuti chii chainetsa. Pandakaenda kuchipatara ndakasvika ndikatsanangurira nachiremba marwariro andaiita. Ndopo vakandibatsira ndikavatsanangurazve kuti ndane pamwiri. Then ndopo vakanditi unofanira kuenda kunotestwa for HIV. Ndaenda kunotestwa, results angu vabuda ari HIV positive. Panguva iyoyo zvakandishungurudza. Ndakafunga kuti pamwe ndokupera kweupenyu hwangu. Uyezve mwana wandakatakura achabuda ari HIV positive. Uyezve anogona kubuda akafa. Then ndopandakakanselwa nana mbuya nana sekuru kuti ndofanira kushandisa mishonga yangu mune zvakanaka, kumwa in time, uyezve kuti ndizvare mwana wangu ari HIV negative. Saka pandakadzokera kumba ndine madhesi andakapiwa. Vakanditsanangura zvekare kuti ndofanira kudzoka kukliniki ndichitariswa kunzi mishonga yangu ndiri kumwa zvakanaka here, uyezve ndichitorwa ropa. Then mazuva angu asvika ndaidzokera kuchipatara sekutsanangurwa kwenendakaita. Ndadzokera ndakasvika ndichinotorwa inonzi viral load kuti ndione kunzi mishonga yangu ndiri kumwa zvakanaka here. Ndatorwa viral load yangu, mishonga yangu yakaratidza kuti ndaimwa zvakanaka, utachiona wangu wakadererera. Then ndasvika pakuzvara mwana wangu. Ndakamuzvara achibva atestwa, results ake bvabuda ari HIV negative. Ndakanzwa kufara, ndikaona kuti chirongwa ichi chinotibatsira zvakanaka, uyezve ukateedzera zvaunenge waudzwa zvinokuitira. Then pane matestis akazoitwa mwana anotorwa ropa pa 6 weeks, otorwa pa 9 months, otorwa pa 18, ozotorwa pa 3 months after post winning. Then ndakadzokera nemwana wangu ndamurumura, akatorwa ropa akaonekwa results ake ari negative. Ndakanzwa kufara, ndakapembera kwazi zvenendinotarisira. Then pandadzokera nemwana wangu, pandaudzwa kunzi unofanira kuramba uchimwa mishonga yako zvakanaka. Saka ndinoda kutenda maorganizations akafanana neZNNP+, NACI, ZHI, neMinistry of Health, nezvandiri, kuti dai maramba muchienderera mberi nekuda kweprogramu iyi. Uyezve ndiri kukurudzira imi vana mai vechidiki vachiri kuzvara kuti kana wapiwa mishonga yako unofanira kumwa nenguva, uyezve uchiteedzera zvaunenge waudzwa kuti ukwanise kuramba uchienderera mberi neupenyu hwako. Ini ndiri kunzwa kufara nekuti ndine utano. Ndatenda.
Pamsoroi vabereki neutekwatekwa hwese uri pano. Ini ndinoitwa Eni Gomba, ndiri muno Makon District. Ndabva kuMayo 1 Clinic. Ndiri musikana wechidiki ane makore 23. Ndakarekta HIV positive ndakazvigamuchira. Asi vana chiremba nanasista vepaclinic vakazondibatsira vakandipa mumwe musikana vechidiki anonzi Muketsi. Muketsi zvichireva kuti Community Adolescent Treatment Supporters. Akandibatsira uye akandipa mashoko akandivaka. Pasina mazuva matatu akatevera kumba nekuti kuparadzana kwatakaita pachipatara. Akaona kuti ndanga ndisati ndazvigamuchira kuti ndizvo zvavavepo. Ndakashanda nemuketsi wangu achindipa rubatsiro. Ndakazofunga kuti dai ndakwanisawo kuitawo muketsi sezvinhu zvandaifunga kuti zvinhu zvinobatsira. Ndibatsirewo vamwe vari kushushikana mupfungwa dzavo semashushikana andaita. Zvisinei, mudhistrict medu makazopindawo inonzi Red Plus. Ndakabva ndafara ndichinzwa kuti iri kutora maketsi. Iko zvino ndava muketsi, ndava kusapotawo vamwe vechidiki vanenge ini vanorarama neutachiwana hweHIV. Chimwe chinondifadza ndechekuti pamayo one clinic handina muadho ane makopizi, ndine matnd. Ndichiti by 2030 is possible. You equals to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing the experiences. Honorable Minister, the guest of honor, allow me to call IASA so that they give us entertainment. IASA, please, can you take over the stage?
What shall we do? Sins and John. What shall we do? What shall we do?
Together we can end AIDS by protecting everyone's rights.
Singavikela amalungelo omuntu wonke. Silakho ukunqoba i-AIDS.
To beat AIDS, we must support everyone affected, especially those who have been excluded or marginalized.
Mukondombera tinoukunda nekuchengetedza kodzero dzedu tiri pamwe.
Gender equality is crucial in our fight against AIDS.
Kodzero dzakaenzana pamunhurume nemunhukadzi dzakakosha pakurwisa mukondombera.
Ukulingana ngobulili kuqakathekile empini yokunqoba i-AIDS.
Acceptance, respect, and care are essential for people living with HIV. Kugashirana nekuriritirana zvakanakira avo vanorarama ne-HIV.
Ukwamukela, inhlonipho, lokunakekela ngothando kuyadingeka ebantwini abaphila legcikwane le-HIV.
We reject laws and policies that discriminate against women and girls.
Tinoramba zvachose mitemo yose inoshayisa vanhukadzi mikana.
Phansi lemithetho encindezela amankazana labesifazana.
We say no to laws that discriminate against marginalized communities.
We oppose laws that block access to HIV prevention, testing and treatment.
Tinoramba zvekare mitemo yose inorambidza kuongororwa, kudzivirira nekurapwa kwe-HIV.
Imithetho evimba ukwelatshwa lokuhlolwa kwabantu kwezempilakahle ayesulu.
Take the right path. My health, my rights, our responsibility. Path, my health, my rights, our responsibility.
Let's fight against policies that hinder vital HIV services and advocacy.
Everyone living with HIV deserves accurate and unbiased information about their condition.
Ikodzero yakho kudzidziswa nekuzwisisa marapiro e-HIV.
Wonke umuntu ophila legcikwane le-HIV ulelungelo lokuthola lokusebenzisa ulwazi olwaneleyo ngesimo sakhe.
Equal access to medical treatment, care and support is a right, not a privilege.
Ikodzero yangu zvekare kurapa nekuchengetwa kana ndaita HIV.
Ukuthola ukwelatshwa losizo lwempilakahle kulilungelo lomuntu wonke.
People living with HIV deserve privacy, dignity, and protection from stigma and discrimination.
Akulunganga ukubandlulula abantu abaphila legcikwane le-HIV. Njalo imfihlo yabo lilungelo labo.
No one should face discrimination in education and employment because of their HIV status.
Everyone living with HIV deserves access to justice and legal protection. Wose ane-HIV anekhodzero yokuchengetedzwa nemitemo yenyika.
Umthetho kumele uvikele wonke umuntu kugoqela abaphila legcikwane le-HIV. Abantu siyafana.
Protecting human rights reduces stigma and promotes a supportive community.
Kuchengetedzwa kwekhodzero dzedu sevanhu kunoita kuti nharaunda ibatsirane.
Ukuvikela amalungelo oluntu kuyehlisa ukucwaswa emphakathini njalo kuthuthukisa imfundo lolwazi nge-HIV.
Protecting human rights promotes education and awareness about HIV.
Protecting human rights ensures access to life-saving treatment and care.
Take the right path. My health, my rights, our responsibility. My health, my rights, our responsibility.
very important message from IASA. And IASA, when you come again, second round to entertain us, please stick to time. Thank you so much. Let's have solidarity speeches, and I'll also request those who are going to be sharing with us the solidarity speeches to just make them within time. Let me have PLWHIVZNNP plus to come and share this solidarity with us.
Thank you so much, Mr. MC. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you my speech. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, fellow advocates, and members of our community. Today, as we gather here in Rusape to observe World AIDS Day, I am filled with profound sense of hope and determination. This year, the theme, Take the Right Path. This year, the theme I want to repeat, let's take the right path. Let's resonate deeply with reflect to our journey we have traveled together. A journey we marked by resilience, courage, and our wavering commitment to our rights and dignity. We stand in solidarity with millions of people living with HIV across Zimbabwe and around the world. Each one of us has a story, a struggle, a triumph deserves to be heard and honored together. We have faced stigma and discrimination, but we have also forged the path and empowerment and advocacy. As we gather today, let's consider the current landscape of HIV in Zimbabwe. Approximately 1.3 million living people with HIV in Zimbabwe. With these statistics, remind us our agents to our mission. We owe to those we have lost and our lives together. We continue to fight justice, equality, and access to health. As we move forward, let's take this right path. This means standing firm to our commitment as human rights and ensuring that every individual has the opportunity to live a healthy and fulfilling life free from stigma and discrimination. In closing, I would like to express my gratitude to you for your encouragement and commitment together. We build a future where everyone living with HIV is empowered and respected and gets support. Thank you for being here today, for our unwavering dedication to our cause. Together, we make a difference. Together, we stand and we take this right path. I thank you, Siyabonga, Tatenda.
Thank you so much. We are continuing solidarity speeches. Can I have Mr. Binyoni, to come and also share his solidarity speech? Mr. Nyoni, is he around?
The Honorable Minister of Health and Child Care, Dr. Douglas Mombeshora, and all protocol observed. I am standing in the shoes of our board chairperson as the secretary of SAN elected at our AGM yesterday here in Rusape. It is an honor to stand before you on this World AIDS Day to reflect on our journey in the fight against HIV/AIDS, celebrate our achievement, and recommit to our shared vision of a healthier Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe AIDS Network, established in 1992, is a coalition of 300 organizations operating across Zimbabwe's 10 provinces. We work tirelessly to implement programs addressing HIV/AIDS, TB, and other health challenges, fostering collaborations and ensuring no one is left behind in accessing life-saving services and support. Our vision is bold but achievable. 0 new infections, 0 AIDS-related deaths, and 0 stigma and discrimination. We are committed to meeting the 95 targets by ensuring that 95% of people living with HIV know their status, 95% of those diagnosed are on sustained treatment, and 95% of those on treatment achieve viral suppression. ZAN aligns its work with Vision 2030, contributing to the presence and vision of transforming Zimbabwe into an upper-middle income country. A healthy population is the foundation of development, and we are committed to creating Zimbabwe-free HIV/AIDS, co-infections, and preventable illnesses where every individual can thrive. As we reflect on this day, let us take pride in the progress we have made and remain steadfast in our efforts to build a healthier, more resilient Zimbabwe for all. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nyoni. Can we have private sector? Speech is being given by Dr. Tatira. Dr. Tatira, please come over.
Thank you, MC, for giving me this time to contribute from the private sector. Guest of honor, our Minister of Health and Child Care, Dr. Douglas Mombeshora, his deputy, and all other respected people here present. May I be allowed to honor protocol as announced earlier on. So, I am from the private sector HIV, AIDS, and Wellness Association, which is a board which was made by the National AIDS Council to coordinate private sector. And the private sector is anything that is not public. It is that sector
which has been contributing to the response to HIV without having that contribution measured. And as such, National AIDS Council and the ministry found it necessary to form this board called Zip Shower. And its purpose basically is to coordinate what happens in the private sector. So it is a board which is made up of business associations, employer and employee associations, and service providers. By service providers, we are talking of doctors, nurses, and anyone else who is there to offer health services. As we commemorate World AIDS Day today, we are reminded of the significant progress Zimbabwe has made in the fight against HIV and AIDS. The progress, guest of honor, includes the achieving the UN AIDS 95 targets under your leadership. However, we also acknowledge that there is still work to be done to achieve a goal of ending AIDS and public health threat by 2030. This year's theme, Take the Right Path, My Health, My Rights, Our Responsibility, serves as a powerful reminder that human rights are essential in ending the AIDS epidemic. As private sector, we recognize our critical role in promoting and protecting the rights of people living with HIV, including access to health care, education, and employment opportunities. At Zip Shower, we are committed to be working with the government, civil society, and other stakeholders to promote a coordinated and inclusive response to HIV and AIDS. We believe that by working together, we can create a society where everyone has access to the healthcare and support they need to live healthy and fulfilling lives. So let us take the right path. So let us take the right path and work together to ensure that everyone's health and rights are protected and respected. We need to come together in the drive towards meeting the UN targets on stigma and discrimination. According to the Zimbabwe Stigma Index Research Report by ZNNP+, there is still a gap with regards to HIV-related stigma and discrimination. People living with HIV still experience different forms of stigma and discrimination. As private sector, coordinated by Zip Shower, we will continue to complement the national response in all areas of HIV and AIDS prevention, treatment, stigma, and discrimination reduction work. In conclusion, Zip Shower is delighted to announce that there is now standardization of work HIV/AIDS wellness programs through implementation of the SARS HIV/AIDS and wellness management system standard. Let us continue to promote education, awareness, and inclusivity in communities and to support those living with HIV and AIDS. Together, we can make a difference and create a brighter future for all Zimbabweans. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tatira. Private sector, is true, it plays a very important part and is also a key partner in the fight of HIV and AIDS. We are going ahead with the solidarity speeches. Honorable Minister, the guest of honor, allow me to call upon Her Excellency, the Ambassador of the United States of America, also to share her solidarity speech with us. Your Excellency.
Guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Douglas Mambashora, other honorable ministers, distinguished member of the government, members of parliament, fellow ambassadors, and UN representatives, civil society, traditional leaders, community, friends. Good afternoon, Makati, Salabonani. I'm grateful to be with you this World AIDS Day as we celebrate our collective efforts and achievements in saving lives. As we do so, we honor our loved ones lost to HIV and AIDS and cherish their memory as family, friends, and community. Today is a day of solidarity and encouragement. Although HIV continues to affect millions of lives, because of the commitment and hard work of many people here today and the support of the American people, Zimbabweans are living longer and healthier lives. We've been combating HIV in Zimbabwe through our PEPFAR program for over 21 years. In the past 5 years, the United States government has invested more than $1 billion to fight HIV and AIDS, and $200 million in the last year alone. Across all provinces in 44 districts, we are funding healthcare workers, delivering life-saving medications, and educating young people to end an epidemic that has claimed too many lives. Together, we have made incredible progress. Zimbabwe has surpassed the UNAIDS 95-95-95 targets and reached HIV epidemic control. I congratulate the government of Zimbabwe and your Ministry of Health and Child Care for reaching this milestone. It is extremely gratifying that the investment of the United States has been life-changing for the people of Zimbabwe. It is an investment that funds the salaries of more than 25,000 health workers, an investment that provides life-saving antiretroviral medicines to keep more than 1.2 million HIV-positive Zimbabweans alive. But this investment requires our continued hard work and vigilance. The gains we have made over the past 21 years could be reversed if we don't take collective action. One aspect of collective action and a key to an AIDS-free generation is prevention. Since 2021, nearly 250,000 Zimbabwean women have received PrEP, a prevention medicine for people at high risk of HIV infection. And this year, the United States supported the government of Zimbabwe to be one of the first countries globally to roll out long-acting PrEP to help keep women safe. This is a clear example of how Zimbabweans, particularly women, have more convenient, more accessible HIV prevention choices because of U.S. support. This year also marks the 10th anniversary of the U.S. government-supported DREAMS initiative. Girls and young women are equipped with skills to be determined, resilient, empowered, AIDS-free, mentored, and safe. DREAMS. We celebrate this decade of partnership and the 1 million women who have participated in this program. I have seen their strength and their creativity today in their businesses and their stand against gender-based violence and commitment to HIV education. Congratulations to the participants of the Life-Changing Dreams Initiative. Collective action also means that people taking life-saving antiretroviral medicines need to stay on treatment. I understand this is one more thing to remember in a day already crowded with responsibilities. But the World AIDS theme this year, Take the Rights Path, My Health, My Rights, Our Responsibility, is a call for us all to take responsibility. Whether my responsibility as a leading partner in public health or your responsibility to take your medications. Today I urge all people living with HIV to take your pills and stay on treatment. Not only for you and your loved ones, but for your community. Moving forward, Our long-term vision is to transition from donor to partner. We want to see the government of Zimbabwe not only lead the HIV and AIDS response, but sustain those gains through increased democratic investments. I know that doesn't happen overnight, but I also recognize that the President's emergency plan for AIDS relief is in its 21st year of emergency. The United States is committed to Zimbabwe's sustainable response, and I reaffirm our commitment to helping the government of Zimbabwe be a self-sufficient, self-reliant partner to sustain the HIV response. In support of this transformation, we are contributing to the development of the HIV Sustainability Roadmap. This is crucial for setting priorities and guiding future investments. I urge the government of Zimbabwe to implement the transitional interventions so that together we can move toward our desired results. Swift implementation will also strengthen Zimbabwe's public health systems to operate optimally for the benefit of the people living with HIV, including the key populations of women and children. Finally, I would like to close by emphasizing that while our progress is impressive, our journey is not over. We cannot go backwards. Let's work together to sustain the gains and accelerate the response to close the gaps and end the epidemic for all groups of people living with HIV. This requires continued partnership with the Ministry of Health and Child Care, multilateral health development partners, civil society organizations, and people living with HIV. But I am confident, building on our past collective efforts, we will bring Zimbabwe closer to ending AIDS. Thank you. Tatenda Siyabonga.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your government support to the government of Zimbabwe is well appreciated, and please continue supporting the health sector. We are now going into remarks by the United Nations Residence and Humanitarian Coordinator for Zimbabwe, Mr. Edward Callon. Please, can you come and share with us your remarks?
His Excellency Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa, President of Zimbabwe, ably represented here today by Dr. Mambashera, Minister of Health and Child Care, Honorable Advocate Mishak Muganza, Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Chief Makoni, Headman of Mochimbere and Traditional Leaders, Mr. Ablot Murangi, Secretary for the Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Manicaland, Distinguished Dr. Madzima, CEO of National Aid Council, Her Excellency Pamela Tremont, U.S. Ambassador to Zimbabwe, my colleague Henry Damisoni, UNAIDS Country Director for Zimbabwe, and other UN heads of agencies that are present here. Mr. Makorovodo, chairperson of ZNPP, Mr. B. Nyonyin Zimbabwe AIDS Network, representatives of the private sector and civil society, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Are we so quiet after all this entertainment? Good afternoon. Great, great. Today on World AIDS Day, we are gathered here to reflect on Zimbabwe's determined journey against the HIV epidemic. It is an endeavor marked by notable milestones, unfinished businesses, and unyielding spirit of resilience and hope. World AIDS Day, traditionally observed on 1st of December, serves as a global platform of solidarity, uniting us in support of individuals living with HIV and remembrance of those who have succumbed to AIDS. The theme for this year, Take the Right Path, underscores the importance of human rights in the fight against AIDS. This observance finds itself amidst the ongoing 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, emphasizing the intersection of gender equality and human rights with the fight against HIV. Empirical evidence points that young girls, women, commercial sex workers, and other key population continue to bear the brunt of this epidemic, which is exacerbated by societal challenges like gender-based violence. Ladies and gentlemen, Zimbabwe has shown remarkable progress in its fight against HIV, achieving significant reductions in new infections and expanding access to life-saving antiretroviral therapies, with 95% of individuals living with HIV receiving treatments in 2023. This tangible support offered through Zimbabwe's AIDS levy and international partners with entities like the Global Fund and PEPFAR forms the backbone of a robust response framework. However, achieving our goal to end AIDS by 2030 hinges on unwavering commitment to human rights and unfettered access to quality services. Ladies and gentlemen, the mantra, "Only rights can fix these wrongs," reminds us that acceptance, respect, and care for indispensable enablers for HIV programs to succeed. The statistics have already been alluded to, and I will leave this for the Honorable Minister. By preventing millions of new infections and saving lives, we secure healthier future for everyone, particularly those living with HIV. Inaction, however, threatens to reverse progress, amplifying human and economic costs. As we look to the future, our path to ending AIDS requires a concerted and inclusive approach. We must continue to champion the rights of all individuals to access comprehensive health care, education, and support. Let us pledge to enhance our collective efforts to safeguard the future of our young girls and empower every individual living with HIV to thrive. The response in Zimbabwe has come so far that ending AIDS as a public health threat is achievable by 2030. The progress on prevention, treatment, care, and support services that have been made is linked to advancing and protecting human rights. Our colleagues have already talked about the incredible achievement of Zimbabwe on the 95-95-95 targets. And I'm sure my good friend, the Honorable Minister of Health, will proudly present where they stand on this. Ladies and gentlemen, our action now is either culminate in an AIDS-free future or leads to severe repercussions in terms of human life and financial burden. In this regard, I want to end to highlight a call to action. 1, uphold the rights of women and girls as a cornerstone in combating AIDS. 2, advocate for the repeal of laws that hinder access to essential services for key populations, building on the commendable efforts by the government of Zimbabwe, its Ministry of Health and Child Care, and the National AIDS Council. 3, expand and enhance service centers for sexual and reproductive health, including HIV with support from partners. 4, and sustain a robust collective action framework to ensure a lasting response to AIDS by stepping away from the business as usual approach. We can fully achieve the 2025 ending AIDS target. In this regard, it is critical to address the gaps in the National Strategic Plan and implement an HIV sustainability roadmap. This should include securing sustainable financing. Zimbabwe stands poised to lead by example in this pivotal global endeavor, ensuring health and equality for coming generations. Let us work together, leveraging our reserves, knowledge, and resources to bring an end to AIDS. Together, we can make a lasting difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caron, for the very important message in your remarks. Can we have entertainment? Tanzaguru, Koe, and Zvapungu to give us contemporary dance and also poem. Please come over. Tanzaguru, John Koe, Zvapungu. By now, I think you should have been somewhere, both on the program which you have you will make sure that Thank you. Let's have Kata giving us a poem.
In the realm of words, where poets roam, I, Katai Minana, a grade 7 lane, stands before you to make my voice heard. With a heart that beats for justice and a soul that yearns to share, I weave a tapestry of words to show that we care. As we journey through life, we weave a tapestry so fine, a canvas of experiences, of strife, and of struggles that define. Take the right paths, my health, my rights, our responsibility. A word that resonates so deep from the hearts of Zimbabweans who understand the value of this creed. Take the right paths, my health, my rights, our responsibility. A phrase that echoes near. A reminder that our well-being is a collective duty we must hold dear. It's a call to action to take ownership of our lives and to make informed choices that promote a healthy living and thrive. As individuals, we have the power to shape our destiny, to make choices that impact not just us, but our community. We must take responsibility of our actions and our decisions, for they have an impact on our health, our rights, and our responsibility. So let us stand together as a collective voice and pledge to take responsibility of our health, our rights, and our responsibility. In conclusion, I leave you with a challenge today to take ownership of your health, your rights, and your responsibility in every way. Remember, take the right paths. My health, my rights, our responsibility. It's not just a phrase, but a call to action to live a life of purpose and to make people positive impact in every way. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I finally raise my case here. I thank you.
Thank you, Minana. Thank you. Very, very interesting poem. We are now having Ruarash also to share poem with us.
Pamsoro wanoremekedzo nemimose makateerera zita ndinoitwa Rwara yetsadza paZvapungu Secondary School. Dakumbokuitirawo detembo rangu mutoetsenza ndomumwe mutoetsenza ushandukikwa mutoemadima tsenza ingarimwa padoro kana kuzvikwirira mugomo mutondomumwe ingaa mbangu sasangu checheni hobvu kana ndete mutondomumwe tsenza itsenza warume we inongosvibisa minwe mazino nemiromo saka zivai kuti mutoetsenza ndomumwe tsenza dzingaita mazita asi tsenza chete namai we tsenza dzingaita zvimiro zvakasiyana asi tsenza chete tsenza chete mutoadzo wakafanana dzimwe dzine madzindandanda dzimwe dzine ganda nhete dzimwe dzingaite munyapfakanda asi tsenza chete dzimwe dzakaomarara dzimwe ichena dzimwe dzine ruvara runotsa kutsanangura dzenyu ndangariro dzamakanyeperwa naniko kuti muchiona zvakasiyana imi baba nhiya mukadzi wamuinaye newandinaye wose wakadzi wanganga mutema wenyari mutsvuku mukati munyama vangori neropa dzvuku chete vabababariranga wachivhindikiti wenyari tsotso chaiyo wese wakadzi mutoetsenza ndomumwe matyewe saka tendera charuweki mudanga rako chamashora pane wenyu chii zvomoti takarasima neuyo aita mutomshoma here nhasi kose musina kuzvitaura musi wamakapfimbana nekudanana kuti munotsvaga nemuto muzhinji wamunosewa muchitambigirwe muto pamagogora muri kuti muchaona anobvinza musodzi wamudzviti here nhai warume wetsvigiri enorimwa chiredzi kwete mumunhu chinodiwa baba nhiya kugutsikana newenyu wamuinaye musafunga kuti zvinodyiwa nanhingi zvinenge zviri nani mukadzi akanaka ari wemumwe wazomubvuta unongonoti hapana chakasiyana tsenza itsenza chete inodyiwa setsenza tsenza inoparwa nebanga kana riripo tsenza inogona kuparwa nechimuti kana riripo tsenza itsenza chete matyewe saka zingizi gonyera pamwe maruwa enyika haaperi. Ndatenda.
Thank you, Ruvarashe. Honorable Minister, guest of honor, Ruvarashe ati, itsenza chete, tatenda. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, at this time and moment, to call upon the Deputy Minister of Health and Child Care, Mr. Kwidini, to come and introduce the guests of honor. Deputy Minister, sir.
Toda kutenda tichiti pamusoro mukoka wedu mukuru, regai nditore mukana uno kutenda nguva yandapiwa kuti ndikuzivisei mukoka wedu mukuru ari pano. Asi ndisati ndakuzivisai ndoda kutenda kuti ndadzidza zvakawanda kuno kuManicaland. Panguva ino ndichitora kuremekedza vose vari pano vari kuremekedzwa zvikuru kuitira nguva. Hanzi tsenza itsenza. Tikaona umwezve ataura kuti value addition zvichireva kuwedzerwa kwekukosha kwechinhu. Saka ndichida kudaro inyaya yekuti tose taungana pano tichida kuona kuti tichirangarira kukosha kweavo vari kurarama vane utachiona hweHIV and AIDS, zvichireva kuti kubatwa nedenda iri hakusi kupera kweupenyu. Ndosaka tiri pano muzuva ranhasi tichirangarira zuva iri. Tine mukokwa mukuru ari pano watauya naye, akaonekwa nemutungamiriri wedu wenyika vanova iyo President Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, kuti awedzere kukosha kwekuona kwezveutano muburikidza neutesveri hwavanahwo mukuona nezveutano hwavanhu. So izvozvo ndoda kukutsanangurirai mukokwa wedu mukuru kuti uri pano nhasi. Mukokwa wedu mukuru wakazvagwa mugore 1961 kuChinhoi, inova iyo Mashonaland West Province. Akadzidza pachikoro chinonzi Mburungwe chiri kuChitomborwizi uko. Vapedzazvo ndobva vaenda kuchikoro chepamusoro chesekendary school kuTama College iriko kuMash West. Vapedzazvo ndobva vazoenda kunoita yatinoti iyo A level yavo kunonzi kuTegwani High School iri kuMatebeleland uko. Vachiri kudzidza kudero ikoko hazvina kufamba mushe. Chikoro hachina kupera, vakatogwa kwatinoti abduction, vakatorwa vakaenda kunodzidza vachipinda muBotswana. Vabva ikoko, vabva kuBotswana ndokubva vazoenda kunyika inonzi United Kingdom, ndokwavakazonopedzera A level yavo. Vapedza izvozvo ndokubva vazodzoka muno muZimbabwe vachijoina kudzidzira kurapa yatinoti iyo chiremba. Izvozvo vakazviitira pachikoro chedu chikuru chenyika chinonzi icho University of Zimbabwe. Asi vachitrena izvi vaitena kudzidza kurapa vari muchiuto chatinoti icho Zimbabwe National Army as a medical cadet. Vakapedza kutrena kurapa mugore 1985. Ndokubva vadzidzira kurapa muvanhu vachibata vari pachipatara chedu chikuru chinonzi Harare Central Hospital
yakunzi Sali Mugabe. Vabva izvozvo ndokubva vadzidza futi vachifamba mugore ra2000 vakadzidzira yatinoti yo specialization mukurapa yatinoti urology. So vachifamba saizvozvo vakadzidza vachingodzidza pazvipatara zvese zvomuno munyika zvinosanganisira vana Parirenyatwa. Ndobva vabva ipapo vakaona kuti zvokurapa ndakuzviziva, chirega ndinodzidzira yatinoti yo strategic management, yokudzidzira kugara navamwe zvakanaka nokutungamirira muzvirongwa zvose zvinoitika muhurumende vari paChinhoi University. So zvakadaro mugore ra2006 mukoko wedu mukuru wakataridzwa kuita mumiriri weparamende weMhangura constituency kumakonde uko. Ndobva vazoita eseneta ipapo futi. So naizvozvo mugore ra2008 again vakabva vaita member of parliament yekumhangura ipapo. Ndobva vaonekwa neutungamirirwa huri ipapo kuti vakakodzera kuita mutevedzeri wezvebazi rezveutano, chinova chinzvimbo chandinacho pano inotaura ari pano. Vabva ipapo ndokubva vafamba mugore ra2013 ndobva vasumudzigwa futi kuita gurukota rezvokurima inonzi iyo Ministry of Lands and Agriculture. Kubva ipapo kusvika 2013 kusvika 2018 kuzobva mugore rapera ra2023 vakahwina futizve kuve mumiririri weMhangura constituency, ndokubva vaitiwa mukuru wezveutano anova iye mukokwa wedu. Mukokwa wedu iye unonzi Honorable Dr. Douglas Tendai Mombeshora. So naizvozvo ndaikumbira kuti mundibetsere kurova maoko tichikoka mukoka wedu mukuru kuti auye atipe mashoko ekutizivisa kuti zviri kufamba sei. Ndinokutendai.
Masikati kwamuri mose. Masikati kwamuri mose. Ndakunzwai muriko. Takuda kusvika kumagumo nzara igopera. Ndoda kutenda vakwidhini. Mutedzeri wangu anga ari pano achitaura nezvangu. Hanzi kudzidza akupere ndozvaatanga kutaura. Ini zveshuwa ndaona kuti kudzidza akupera. Nhasi ndadzidza kuti vakwidhini vanosvisvina mutauro wedu wechivanhu zvandisati ndambovanzwa vachiita. Aiwa vachisvisvina chaizvo. Asiwo ndadzidza chimwe pano. Zvanzi muto wetsenza mumwe chete, tsenza aitsenza. Tsenza ndedzekumaNikaland ka. Asi nevauyawo vakokwa zivai kuti tsenza aitsenza. Ndoda kutanga nekuremekedza Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Manicaland Province, Advocate Mishek Mugadzi. Ndoremekedza zvakare mutedzeri wegurukota rezveutano nekuchengetedzwa kwevana Honorable Kwidini. Ndoda kuremekedza Mambo Makoni vatitambira munzvimbo mavo nemamwe madzimambo angadaro ari pano atisina kuona. Let me also recognize Senator Angeline Tongogara, vanove chairperson we-thematic committee on HIV and AIDS ku Senate yedu yemuZimbabwe. Ndoda kuremekedza ma-members of parliament vese vari pano, handichavadoma nemazita, our permanent secretary vari kugweru zuva ranhasi asi vakamirirwa nadr banda. Ndoremekedza zvakare provincial affairs and devolution secretary for Manicaland, Ms. Ablot Maronge, our National AIDS Council Chief Executive, Dr. Madzima, other senior government officials varipano, our UN resident and humanitarian coordinator for Zimbabwe, Mr. Edward Callon, munogara mchiti perekedza kunzvimbo dzakawanda, tinokutendai naizvozvo. Nevamwewo vamunenge mauya navo ma-UN agencies ari muno muZimbabwe. Let me also recognize the presence of Ambassador Pamela Tremont, our hurumende United States of America. Ndoda kuti mose mauya pano ndinokuchingamidzai nemi vatori venhau vari pamberi pangu hama neshamwari. I am very happy to have been requested to be the guest of honor as we commemorate the World AIDS Day, whose theme is Take the Right Path, My Health, My Rights, Our Responsibility. This commemoration is important for us to take stock of the progress we have recorded in responding to one of the world's longest running pandemics. Based on solid, deliberate policies and interventions adopted by Zimbabwe, our response has recorded significant milestones which have made us a global example for the effective reduction of new HIV infections and domestic funding, among other achievements. We have continued to record lower new HIV infections from year to year, while the number of people receiving antiretroviral therapy has continued to rise as we pursue the 2025 targets. Pursuing these targets has been a major part of restoring the rights and dignity of our people, whose lives have been transformed by the national response. Ladies and gentlemen, these are pleasing results, but we are not yet on an irreversible path towards ending AIDS by 2030. These results have indicated that the pace of reducing HIV infections is slower, and that we may miss the target of ending AIDS if we continue doing the same things the same way we have been doing them. While our HIV prevention interventions have been robust and led to identification of 95% of HIV positive people, we have to be more strategic in identifying the remaining 5% to ensure optimal use of resources. Complementary to the ongoing provider-initiated HIV testing, my ministry has introduced HIV case-based surveillance to identify and track remaining pockets of HIV transmission and areas of service gaps. We have also scaled up HIV testing through widespread distribution of oral fluid-based and blood-based kits. These services are being rendered within the framework of differentiated service delivery that tailors testing, treatment, and care to the needs and circumstances of the client. Although new infections have dropped, women continue to bear the brunt of the pandemic. Of the 15,400 new infections recorded last year, women accounted for 9,200 of them. Among adolescents, women also accounted for 1,500 out of the 1,700 new infections. Evidence has shown that this is largely driven by gender inequalities and socio-economic vulnerabilities that heighten exposure to HIV. Additional to the high impact HIV prevention interventions already in place, my ministry, working together with the National AIDS Council, donors, and partners, is delivering key targeted interventions, including distribution and promotion of the female condom, the DREAMS and sister-to-sister programs, and various gender transformative programs, including the SASA model and interventions meant to ensure that young girls remain in school longer and that child pregnancies and marriages are eradicated in line with our laws. In addressing these vulnerabilities, we cannot leave men behind, as their environment is critical for both for their own health as well as in support of women and children. Various male engagement interventions in this regard, including the brother-to-brother model, have been scaled up. Although we have already achieved the 95 fast-track targets among adults, we are still overall below 63% among children. My ministry has therefore taken deliberate steps to protect the rights of children through scaling up of services in this regard. The steps we have taken include training of staff, nucleic acid testing of infants at facilities, and provision of child-friendly antiretroviral therapy that tastes better and dissolves faster. Children are also a priority population for viral load monitoring at the facilities. In this regard, we have increased the number of sites offering point-of-care early infant diagnosis to over 150, using PIMA and Gene Expert for faster delivery of results for HIV-exposed infants. Scores of community adolescent treatment supporters have been trained and deployed across the country to assist their peers in the communities to remain on alert and adhere to clinic visits for follow-ups. Children exposed to HIV and those living with HIV also succumb to vaccine-preventable diseases. In this regard, my ministry is deliberating prioritizing vaccination of children regardless of their HIV status during the ongoing polio vaccination and others. Outreach and follow-up interventions have also been scaled up to ensure that all children who fall out through the cracks within the continuum of care are identified and maintained in care as we pursue achievement of fast-track targets among children. Ladies and gentlemen, my ministry has also intensified initiation of pregnant mothers infected with hepatitis B on tenofovir for the prevention of transmission of the virus to their babies and giving children hepatitis B birth dose vaccination for all infants. Based on the test and treat approach, all people that have been tested HIV positive have been initiated on antiretroviral therapy and achieved viral load suppression. We, however, have to remain vigilant to ensure cases of defaulting and drug resistance are minimized, while also attending to associated non-communicable diseases. As a strategy to optimize treatment outcomes, my ministry has strengthened CD4 screening and screening for advanced HIV disease among people newly diagnosed and those returning to care. Additional screening is done among the same people for TB and cryptococcal meningitis. Ladies and gentlemen, it is of paramount importance that we take the right path and promote upholding of rights. We all have to understand that rights have responsibilities. It remains the responsibility of each one of us to assess and utilize HIV and health services We all have responsibility to protect children, young people, women, and all those that are vulnerable to HIV as we pursue ending AIDS. Taking the right path requires a robust and integrated health delivery system anchored on availability of skilled health workers and the requisite machinery and medicines. In this regard, my ministry has embarked on various initiatives which include the development of the Health Workforce Strategy 2023 to 2030, heightening monitoring of the MPOX, building climate-resistant, resilient, and sustainable health systems, bolstering of the country's resilience against cholera, as well as provision of both air and road ambulances, among others. Ladies and gentlemen, financing the response and indeed the entire health sector remains a major challenge that my ministry has been grappling with. While we have the National AIDS Trust Fund, it is evident that we have to continue being innovative and increase domestic resources to support the response. Given the inescapable reduction of funding by our donors as we go forward, my ministry, together with the with the National AIDS Council, several local stakeholders and international partners, are part of ongoing key discussions and processes to develop a sustainability roadmap for reliable and predictable financing of the response from domestic resources. In this regard, we are continuing to explore various stages, including national health insurance, public-private partnerships, and regional cost-cutting approaches for local manufacturing and pooled procurement, among other initiatives. Finally, I would like to thank all the partners in the national response for their hard work in 2024, despite the challenges confronting us. Your contribution and participation have been very immense and central towards protection and restoration of rights for people living with and vulnerable to HIV. Muto wetsenza, mumwe chete, tsenza itsenza. I thank you. Tinotenda.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the very important speech that you have shared with us. Thank you so much. Can we all please clap your hands for the guest of honor? Such a brilliant speech. Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Minister, I'm now retiring as the Master of Ceremony, and I call upon my Master of Ceremony to take over. But before I sit down, I'll give you entertainment. Can we have Iasa? And Iasa, please, when you come, entertain us. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Can you come closer to the guest of honor? We want to see your beautiful attire. you. Thank you so much. Pane zimwe iyasa dzatozobuda dzatati singazivi. Pari zvino guest of honor ndichakumbira kuti muzopa mibairo kune vaya vamhanya. Yasvika nguva yatatakamirira yaya. Saka ndichakumbira pamberi panapa. Ngatikurumidzei. Ndinoda Melody Kaseke, Miss Bangarembwa from Kenya. Tina Moses Tarakeno. Vanhu ivavo ngavauye kuno kumberi. Ngatimanyei savanhu vawina. Makumbo achadere. Totanga nemadzimai. Number 3 ndi Miriam Sivanda. Miriam Sivanda aripi? Anowana iye bronze medal ne prize money. Makorokoto makuru amhlope. Congratulations. Number 2 ndi Caroline Mando. Anowana silver medal ne prize money. At 21 kilometers kana ini kuifamba chaiko handipedzi. Shasha ya dzose ndichidzivo fortunate. Anowana gold medal ne prize money. Maita henyu asikana. Takuinda kuvarume. Sidirai padhuze. Number 3 kuvarume ndi Moses Tarakino. Anowana bronze medal ne prize money. Wazama. Next year we wish you to be number 1. Number 2, the Isaac Langat, all the way from Kenya. Thank you and well done. Well done. Shashaya dzose. Uribane. Anowana iye gold medal ne prize money. Anonzo Wayne Kabondo. Vamwe ma prizes enyu muchazopiwa aripo. Aripo. Thank you so much. Muchakamira guest of honor. Rambai makamira. Tinoda kutendai nebasa guru ramaita nhasi. Tine chipo chenyu chehwai. Waiya ngaiuye kaomana. Hatidi mapledges. Ngaiuye. Wai ngaiuye. Tinoda kuti takatomirira kuidya. takamirira hwai mambo Makoni mogadzirira kuzotipa mashoko okutenda. Rauya zihwai riya ndosaka rari chinonoka ziguru. Ziguru chairo ibhuredhi kwayo. Siderai nayo. Guest of honor, Nehwai, to thank you for all the work that you have done for us today. Maita henyu, mungashitora chigaro chenyu. Ndokumbira mambo Makoni vazotitendera basa rabatwa pano nhasi.
Pamsoroi guest of honor, Dr. Mombeshora. Rangu ini basa iduku asi ririro rinozadzisa mukombe. Ndinoda kutenda zvikurusa kuna guest of honor wedu wauya wakamirira president wedu weZimbabwe Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa. Ndimambo maromo wanobva chihwi chikona mombe. Ndinotenda nekuuya kwamaita hanzi zvikomo zvinopanana mhute. Naizvozvo tiri kutenda nerutsigiro rwamaita kupedza zuva rese muchitipakurira nekutisimbisa. Mazvinzwa imimi kuti muto wetsenza ndeumwe chete. Saka gore rinouya ithimu yamunofanira kuti mufambe nayo kuti muto wetsenza ndeumwe chete, tsenza ichenza chete. Naizvozvo ndoda kutenda zvakare kuna Honorable Mugadza, Advocate Mugadza. Sambiri ndimambo zvakare, mambo nerutanga. Saka nhasi unoita andakatsigirwa nemambo.
World AIDS Day celebrations right here in Rusapes Primary School. We're here commemorating the day, a very big day in Zimbabwe's calendar, a very big day in the world's calendar. The theme is Take the Right Path, My Health, My Rights, My Responsibility. We learned today that about 1.3 million Zimbabweans are living with HIV. So this means that we still have a very long way to go in as far as combating HIV and AIDS is concerned. However, a positive note is that we have managed to achieve the 95 target, which means 95% of the people now know their status. And 95% of people are taking their ARVs, and 95% of the population now has a suppressed viral load. So that is a very huge step, a very huge step that we've taken in the direction towards the eradication of HIV and AIDS in the country. Now we have a guest here that we have today who's going to talk to us about living with HIV and AIDS as a discorded couple. Vachataura nesu maringe nekurarama nechirwere utachiwana hweHIV vari couple vane mastatus akasiyana. Makadizve?
ndinofara makadiwo.
Tiripo makadiwo. Toda kuziva isusu kuti ajaira kungotaura muchirungu kuti discorded couple, but vanhu vari kunze uko vanogona kunge vasingazivi kuti kana tichiti discorded couple tenge tichimbonyatsoreva chii.
Okay. Pakuva discordant couple kuti munenge muri vaviri vanodanana vari murudo vanogara vese, mumwe ano utachiwana hwe-HIV mumwe asina.
Saka imimi makazviziva rini kuti ndo zviripo uye mazviziva makanoudza umwe wenyu sei akazvigamuchira sei?
Alright, ini ndakaziva 2001 kuti ndaita HIV positive. Semunhu aiziva mafambiro akamboita kure uku, ndakangoti andonoudza mumwe wangu zvekutoreva kuti tese tiri HIV positive nekuti ndaiziva kuti ndiye murume wega wandakasangana naye. Saka zvadaro ndasvika kumba ndikamutaurira, iye akangoti hazvina basa, but haana kuda kunotestwa nguva iyoyo. Saka takagara tichishingisana for about 5 years, kubva 2001 kusvika 2006. Ipapo ndipo pandakatanga kuchidzikira pamuviri wangu, kutanga kurwara, ndopandakabatwa TB. Ndabatwa TB
Sorry ndichese ndokukata muchazoenderera henyu mberi kubva ipapo, but imi mati kubva 2001 kusvika 2006 makagara muchishingisana neumwe wenyu. Ndoda kuziva kuti panyaya dzebonde maidzivirira here kana kuti maizvifambisa sei panguva iyoyo yekushingisana?
Panga pasina kudzivirira, pasina, because mumwe wangu aingofunga kuti zvandabuda positive naiyewo ndizvo zviri. Munoziva varume zvavanoita kuti maresults angu ndiwo ako. Saka takangogara takadaro kusvika 2006 ndopandakazochirwara manje, vataenda kuchipatara ndopandakaonekwa ndane TB. Ndine TB zvikanzi chiregai titange takutestai, ndopatakazotestwa tese, vandaonekwa ini ndiri HIV positive, ivo vari HIV negative. Kwabva vanzi vari pawindow period, but mumwe wangu ndoda kumutenda stereki panguva iyoyo. Ini ndandine denial yakasimba, because ndaitoramba even kunotora mapiritsi acho eTB ndega. Iye akashingirira kutora mapiritsi eTB kubva day 1 kusvika musi wandakarumurwa pamushonga ndakutanga ARV. Ndopandakazotanga kuita kupinda paARV. Apo pandakazotorwa CD4 count ipapo yanga itori pa22, meaning kuti panguva iyoyo munhu anga ane CD4 count ye22 aitova bedridden. But kubva ipapo nesupport yandakawana kubva kumurume wangu nemamwe masupport groups aive aripo achindishingisa kuti shinga unoita right, but ndandisingavaudze kuti ndiri HIV positive. Ndangotaura nyaya yeTB. But ndakazoshingisana nemumwe wangu akadzokorera kunotestwa, haana kuwanikwa neutachiwana. Achingotestwa akasingapera, achingobuda ari HIV negative. But iye haana kana kutombondisiya, akati hazvina basa, zvinogona kunge zvakakuwirawo, but nawe kuti ndakakuona uri mhandara isu inoita kuti ndikusiye. Saka takangoshingisana kwakugara takadaro. Then 2013 ndakaerekana ndane pamuviri, because taimboti tikadzivirira todzivirira torega, because mumwe wangu achiti kana ndoda kukuratidza kuti ndinokuda nemwoyo wese. 2013 mandabata pamuviri, ndandaita mwana wangu musikana akabuda ari HIV negative.
Saka imimi pakuzoita pa2013 apa pakuita pambiri nekusungunuka mwana wenyu anga ari HIV negative, pane matanho amakatora here kuti musvike pakusungunuka mwana asina chirwere?
Zvinoita Mwari panguva iyoyo takaita maprogram mazhinji ePMTCT, but handina kuenda through program channel chaiyo. Pamuviri pandakatozopaziva pane 5 months kuti ndane pamuviri, pakuda kutanga kutora matanho ayaya zvisinei, asi zvakafamba zvakanaka kusvika ndabara mwana wangu. Ndikaita zvese zvinodiwa, exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months. Hana mwana wandakapa mvura kana chii. Ndikatouya nemwana wangu, mwana musikana ane utano, anga ari negative.
Aiwa, tinotenda Mwari ende nyaya dzakadai so dzinokurudzirawo vamwe vanga ngodaro vari kunzoko vanenge vari musituation kana chimiro chakafanana nechenyu kuti vazive kuti aiwa zvinotogoneka, vanhu munogona kutogarisana muine mastatus akasiyana mukatovaka mhuri yenyu. Saka veukama makavazivisa here? Vanoziva here kuti ndo zviripo? Nekuti tatoona ipo panapa nhasi vamwe vangu vachitopa matestimonials kuti inini ndakazobatwa chirwere ndine makore akati ndikazodi vachitaura pachena. Imimi kune veukama makabuda pachena here kana kuti makangoti regedzai tingozvigarira takanyarara?
Mumwe wangu kudzinza kwangu inini vanoziva, but mumwe wangu haana kuda kuti hama dzake dzizive, because haazive kuti vanozvitambira sei. Vanogona kubva vati hazviite kuti ugare nemunhu akadai, ende muziva pressure inobva kuhama, munogona kubva matozosiyana. Zvakadaro ipapo 2018 takapamha zvekare tikaita mwana musikana ari HIV negative. Isusu muupenyu hwedu taida vana 4. Pandakatanga ku2001 ndandine vakomana 2. PaPMTCT apa ndakuziva kuti ndine utachiwana ndaita vasikana 2. Saka vana vedu tine 4. 2 vakomana 2 vasikana.
Saka vana venyu vanoziva here kuti ndo zviripo maererano nestatus yenyu?
Vana vangu vanoziva. Vanotondirangaridza kuti amai imwai mushonga. Mufamily nevanhu 6 amai voga ndo vanorarama neutachiwana.
Saka makazovazivisa pastage ipi? Because tambotaura nyaya iyi pandambotaura neumwe munhu wandandichitaura naye kuti vana vanogona kunge vaine chirwere kana utachiwana inyopeisa vana kuzotaurirana semhuri kuvagadzika pasi kuti vananguonai ndo zviripo ini namai venyu ndiri pamushonga mararamiro edu akadai makavagadzika pasi at what stage kana kuti zvinhu zvavakangoonawo mukukura kuti ndofunga ndo zviripo?
Pavakomana vakuru takambotanga ndichivavanzira but ndazova nemusikana wekutanga mukuru ndakavagadzika pasi ndakavati vana vangu muri kuona mushonga wandinomwa mushonga uyu ndouri kuita kuti ndirarame ini namai venyu ndonorarama neutachiwana hweHIV. Mukuru wacho ndakaona haana kuzvitambira nguva iyoyo nemaziso ake kuti
ane makore mangani pa
by then angari form 1 kana ndisingakanganise form 1 form 2 ndopandakanyatsomuudza nyaya yake kuti ndo zvazviri but nekuzoramba tichiti pataenda kumasupport group ndaitakura vanawo vachienda kune markets kune vana vadiki vachikurukurawo nevamwe vanga vari HIV positive ivo vasiri ndakatozoona kuti vakuenda vachinzwisisa kuti uku ingori condition zvayo.
Alright, saka tichitarisa nyaya yekurarama neutachiona hweHIV muno muZimbabwe, toda kunyatsokuziva kuti mukudzidzisana mukati menharaunda nehama, mukudzidzisana mukati menharaunda nehama mukufamba kwamunoita maprograms amunenge muchiita, munombosangana nawo here nemacouples ekuti murume nemukadzi kana musikana nemukomana wekuti vanenge vaine status dzakasiyana vachizvigamuchira sei? Muchivashingisa zvigamuchirika here kana kuti dzimwe dzimba dzinotosvika pakuparara?
Dzimba zhinji dzinosvika pakuparara nekuti vanhu havasati vazvinzwisisa. Ndakaona mukana wekuti ndinoenda pachipatara chiri pedyo neni ndichinokurukura nevanhu vanorarama neutachiwana ipapo. Ndakambosangana nekapo yakadaro, mukadzi ndiye akanga atori HIV positive achiramba kutora mushonga wakachiti sei inini ndanzi HIV positive iwewe usina. Ndakaita nguva yakakura tichikurukura but ivo vaifunga kuti ndiri kungotaura zvekuti ndimushingise. Dzima razonzwisisa atoona nemabhuku angu nemapiritsi angu andinomwa zvese ndopaakazotanga kuzvinzwisisa kuti zveshuwa zvinogona kuraramika. Then pane vana vechidiki vari kukura varinge vachida kuwanikwa obva iye ari kutoziva kuti ari HIV positive odiwa nemukomana ari HIV negative. Pakuda kunodiscloserana mastatus paipa ndiri kuona iri kuva challenge but vazhinji vacho vari kuvagamuchira vakadaro. Asi kazhinji zviri nyore kumunhu wemukadzi kugamuchira murume ari HIV positive than varume. Vashoma vakaita sewangu akandigamuchira.
But why zvakadaro kuti munharaunda matinorarama umu sekutaura kwamuri kuita kuti muri kuti mimi zviri nyore kuti vakadzi vange vari vanogamuchira kuti murume wangu ndo mamiriro zvakaita, but kana zvazoshanduka manje kuti varume vazvigamuchire kazhinji sematauriro amuri kuita hazviiti seizvozvo, munofunga kuti nei zvakadaro?
Inini ndofunga kuti nemakudzirwa atakaitwa vanhu ndozvinokonzera izvozvozvo. Savarume vanosiyiwa mumaprogramu mazhinji kuti vawane information yakakwana kuti zvinhu izvi it's just a condition unogona kutorarama. In my case tikatarira gore rino igore rechi23 ndichirarama neutachiwana hweHIV, asi kana iwewo ukanditarira ungandipuma here kuti ndiri HIV positive? Kana vana vangu ukavaona haungakwanisi kuvapuma kuti vari HIV positive, vari HIV vakabarwa nemukadzi ari HIV positive.
Mashoko enyu ekupedzisira mungada kuti muudze vanhu because nyaya yenyu inyaya inosimbisa vanhu vazhinji kunze uko vatoona kuti zvinhu zvinogoneka zvinoitika. Mungada kuudza kuti kudii kune mama-couples especially ari musituation yakaita seyenyu tichinopedzisa?
Alright, inini ndiri kuda kutaura nema-couples ari musituation inenge yangu kuti rudo harusarure kuti une chirwere here kana kuti kumira kwenyu muri vairi ukana wakati till death do us part ndo panobuda rudo rwemachokwadi ipapo kuti uchada mumwe wako kusvika murufu. Kazhinji kacho nyangwe munhu ukararama wakadaro tikuona tagara kwenguva yakareba kudai asi handina kukwanisa kutapurira utachiwana kumumwe wangu.
Aiwa, tinokutendai zvikuru. Murambe muchidzidzisa vamwe pamusoro peutachiwana hwe-HIV and AIDS. Murambe muchigarisana zvakanaka kuti society yedu ikwanise kunzwisisa kuti zvinhu zvikuru. Ndichakumbira kuti muende kana neuko tikwanise kuendera mberi. Munoita basa. World AIDS Day commemorations here in Rusape. We're talking to a lady who has been living with HIV for the past 23 years, and the encouraging thing about her story is that she has been living with HIV for 23 years with a partner who is negative, and they've had 2 children along the way. So it is quite an encouraging story. It is quite a story that makes us believe that these things can be done, that people can actually survive with HIV and have quite a normal life. Now we're going to be joined by yet another guest, Dr. Owen Mugurungi. Dr. Owen Mugurungi is the Director AIDS and TB Unit from the Ministry of Health and Childcare. Dr. Mugurungi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great, thanks. How's work?
Work is alright. It's a great day today.
It is a great day, quite sunny, but you know, we survive. All right, to start off our conversation, we just want to understand the successes that have been made by government in as far as HIV and AIDS is concerned.
So we've come a long way from an era where it was doom and gloom. Now it's looking much brighter. We are hopeful. Zimbabwe is now one of the countries in the sub-region that are going to meet our targets for the 95, 95, 95. 95% of population living with HIV know their status. More than 95%, which is 99% of people who know their status on treatment, and 97% of people on treatment have maximum viral suppression. So that's tremendous success that we've made. We also shouldn't celebrate because we still have challenges with the 4% that need to know the HIV status. We need to get to 100%. We also have 1% of the people who know their status who are not on treatment. And of course, the ultimate thing is to make sure that viral suppression is also at 100%. We do continue to have 15,000 new HIV infections in this year. 15,000 is a lot of new infections. So we need to reduce that. Our target for 2030 is 0. So we need to get to 0 new HIV infections.
Okay, let's talk about the more than 95% whom you said have maximum viral suppression. We find that in most cases, you know, people have different beliefs. You know, some go to church, some go to traditional healers, and you're prayed for and you're told, oh, now you're healed. And probably you're now at that place where you just have maximum suppressed viral load because you haven't taken your medication faithfully. What do you have to say to those people, you know, who end up not
So here's the thing. We know HIV is a viral infection. The virus is inside your body. And the only proven way of getting it out of your body is through treatment. So you have to take your tablets. We don't discourage people to have religious belief, to do whatever it is. But at the end of the day, whatever you do, take your medication. Because at the end of the day, that taking of the medication will make sure that you have maximum viral suppression and you live a longer and better life.
Doctor, it's unfortunate that we've run out of time, but I must thank you so much for having joined us. Dr. Mugurungi there from the Ministry of Health and Childcare telling us the importance of taking medication in the case that you're living with HIV and AIDS. It has been a great day as we're commemorating World AIDS Day here in Rusape under the theme, Taking the Right Path, My Health, My Rights, My Responsibility. Stay safe out there. Get get tested, know your status, take your medication, and live a healthy, positive lifestyle. Until we meet again, hopefully next year, the same celebrations. Pleasant viewing.
regeti pekutenda kukurusa kuna Yvonne Mukondani anga achitizivisa zvanga zviri kutora nzvimbo kuJohn Kawe Primary School kwaRusape kudunhu reManicaland kumemberero dzekucherechedza zuva reWorld AIDS Day. Zvakawanda zvakurukurwa asi zvikuru zvatanyanya kubata ndezvekuti zvakakosha kuti nyika yedu yeZimbabwe kunyangwe zvayo iri kubudirira munyaya dzekuderedza kupararira kwedenda iri, zvakakosha kuti tisimbaradze zvirongwa zvekuti denda iri risarambe richinetsa. Asi pari zvino Zimbabwe inyika iri kuyemurwa zvakanyanya nedzimwe nyika kubudikidza nezvirongwa zvairi kuita zvekuedza kuderedza kupararira kwedenda reHIV neAIDS. Pane zvakawanda mitambo yaitwa yanga ichivaraidza veruzhinji, asi zvikurusa nyaya huru yanga iri kungo yekutsinidzira nyaya yekukoshesa kuchengetedzana, kuvimbana pamwe chete nekusashorana, nekuti zvakawanda zvinoitika munharaunda dzatigere. Vamwe ndo vanotarisirwa pasi nekuda kwekuti vanenge vaine denda reHIV neAIDS, asi utano hwakakosha kubudikidza nekukuridzirana nekushanda pamwe chete tiri munharaunda. Masangano akawanda ataura inhlanganiso ezinengi ezikhulumileyo zitshengiseke ukuthi kuqakathekile ukubana uzulu weZimbabwe amanyane, sisebenzele ndawonye eziqintini ukuze seneliseke ukuthuthukisana kundaba zempilakahle elizweni. Njalo siboneke ukuthi siqhubekela phambili sithuthukisa-ke inhlelo zezempilakahle eZimbabwe. Sithanda ukubonga-ke bonke-ke abayenze ukuthi-ke lolu hlelo lufike kini kakuhle, labo-ke asisebenze labo bekhona-le eRusape eManicaland. Siyabonga, ngimele-ke bonke bona labo. Mina-ke igama lami u-Elizabeth Chengeta, lisale.